People are going to be losing money if they do not pay attention to this. The market just got some really, really good news, and I'm excited to break it down for you here in just a second. But there is some bigger, more bearish news that is being forgotten, being left behind by investors and traders today. I'm going to bring it back to your attention so that you don't forget and you don't get trapped. I'm going to talk about that trap, also going to go through the news and talk about a pretty cool bullish headline for Chainlink. I'm Taylor Schrum. This is the Crypto Morning News Report. We're going to get into it here. Let's start off with the crypto news. Getting started here with the morning sentiment. January cut hopes return. Bitcoin fear and greed ticks up ever so slightly to 17 from 16 yesterday. Still remains in extreme fear. 25 basis point cuts in January was 22% likely when I wrote this down. That spread has changed. CPI data, U.S. inflation, CPI number for November year over year was 2.7. This is much lower than the previous 3.0 and the expected 3.1. Look at that. Inflation was actually expected to tick up 1.1% there. It actually did not. It came down 0.3%. Pretty impressive, and 0.4% lower than the expected. U.S. Treasury has repurchased $3.7 billion of its own debt. That is liquidity injection. And White House advisor Hassett says it's appropriate for the Fed to lower interest rates right now. White House advisor Hassett is likely to be the next Fed chairman. Bullish vibes. Coinbase adds stock trading and prediction market Fidelity ETF. FBTC sees 391 million in inflows, and the BlackRock and other ETFs also saw positive inflows yesterday. The BOE cut rates to 25 basis points to 3.75, matching expectations. So our friends across the pond, if you could call a central bank a friend, has cut rates. White House says next year will be the largest tax refund season of all time. That's potentially liquidity injecting. More than 1 million service members in the United States will get $1,776 before Christmas. And if you kind of do the quick math on that, the White House said it's going to be more than 1 million service members. But if you just go to that million number, that comes out to 1.7 billion in liquidity injected. Now that's to human beings, to actual people on the ground, to retail, not to institutions or anything like that. But that's 1.7 into the economy. And you'll notice the cheeky number there, 1776. Very good. Look ahead, December 19th, Bank of Japan rate decision. That is going to be coming on the 19th. It's going to either be late Thursday night or early Friday morning. They don't give us a heads up of exactly what time it's going to be. They really should, because this is serious stuff. We'll be paying attention to that. December 30th, FOMC minutes. January 15th, MSCI decision on MSTR inclusion, and the Supreme Court ruling on tariffs. Date TBD. Asia was mixed. Japan was down. Hong Kong and Shanghai Composite were higher. The trap that people are going to be falling into today is this. January rate cut for the 25 basis point rate cut was 22% likely this morning. Check this out. Right now, it is 28. It has surged up to 28% likely that we will actually see a cut in January. Now, I'm not here to tell you that we aren't going to see a cut in January. Maybe we will. But if this number 28 does not get above 50 and does not continue to surge higher, then the folks that are buying right now across the board, whether it's the S&P, whether it's Bitcoin, whether it's Ethereum, they are likely going to see a decrease in the value that they've put into the markets. Now, I have a conviction that Bitcoin is likely to be going lower from here. I am mid and long-term very bullish. I think 2026 is going to be a huge, impactful year for crypto and Bitcoin to the upside. But I think that folks that are buying today on this pump, on this renewed hope that we see a January rate cut of 25 basis points, I think those folks are falling for the trap. Now, how could I be proven wrong here? I could be proven wrong if from today, the likelihood of a 25 basis point rate cut in January continues to go higher, ticking above 50% and getting back and continuing to move higher into the end of the year. That would prove me wrong. You also need the market to continue to pay attention to that. And there can be other forces that may actually keep prices suppressed, even with that going forward, even with a January rate cut becoming much more likely. That would be the fact that we're just at the end of the year, right? This is not the time where institutions and even most of retail make their significant allocations. All of that has been done in the spring, in the summer, and in the fall. Right now, we're kind of in the tax loss harvesting season where it's very common for there to be just kind of a net selling environment. Now, with that said, anything can happen. This is the financial markets. I'm not telling you what is going to happen. I'm telling you what a lot of retail is going to get caught up in the trap of. So we went through the news. I told you about the trap. I want to show you guys this really cool bullish headline from Chainlink. Chainlink is one of my favorite altcoins, and it's an altcoin that I've held for a long time. I've DCA'd, and it's actually one of the coins that I'm still very much positive in, even after this big crypto downturn after October 10th. Let's check it out. This is what Chainlink put out today. They said, "We are excited to announce a major industry milestone in a global corporations action initiative led by Chainlink in a collaboration with 24 of the world's largest financial institutions, including Swift, DTCC, and Euroclear." Now, they go on to talk a little bit more about corporate actions and why that's important to them. The reason why I think that this post is really bullish is because of the names listed here below. Chainlink is showing yet again that they are leading the charge in financial services. Financial and market infrastructure. You see Swift. That's the big name that the XRP folks like to talk about quite a bit. You see DTCC. Man, they've been moving and shaking recently, just getting some regulatory clearance from the SEC to take some further action and take more market share. Euroclear, obviously a big player in the European side of things, and many, many more very important names. You also see asset managers and banks, UBS, DBS, BNB Paribas, and let's see some other ones that folks might recognize here. Wellington Management, right? These are all really big names. Some of them you may not recognize. Some of them you see driving on your way to work every single day. I'm here to tell you, Chainlink is one of those coins that I don't want you to sleep on. I also don't want you to necessarily buy it today, right? Because today we're seeing a decent pump back to the upside for crypto and for altcoins. I'm definitely sitting on my hands today. Today is one of those days where very gifted analysts that we have in our membership group, VIP trading group, these guys are doing the hard work of sitting here and meticulously charting the charts. They have said and have continued to say that we are likely to break this support here for Bitcoin and actually push lower. But the good news is that we will eventually have that mid to long term explosion higher, and we will see prices shoot back to the upside in a way that we've never seen in 2025, in a way that is called euphoric. Now, I'm not here to tell you that I can predict exactly when that's going to happen. And I would also be the first to tell you that although some analysts are very gifted at predicting the future of markets and the future of price, not everybody gets it right. Okay. So, why am I so confident today in coming out and telling you that people are going to lose money? Because I do think that they will. I think that a lot of people are just getting into the markets. They don't know right from left. They don't know up from down. They see markets going higher. You buy them, right? And that is just today not the right thing to do, in my opinion. Again, the invalidation of that thesis would be that from here, we see the probability of those rate cuts going up above 50 and continuing to tick higher. So far, if I go back to the live price here of the poly market spread, I'm seeing that 28% is still been the top for this movement, right? I would need to see this continue. Now, how could this continue? Because I want to give hope to the bulls. I'm not going to give you this hope so that you buy today. I'm going to give you this hope to give you clarity on why I'm actually pretty optimistic from here, but I'm not going to be caught in the trap. What I like about this move is that if we could get the FOMC minutes to come out and further clarify that the January cut is more likely, then we could see that 25 basis point cut become 50% or more likely by the 30th. That's the day that the FOMC minutes drop. Now, some of you guys are like, what the heck are FOMC minutes? Don't worry about it. They're basically just, it's a document that is a summary of what was discussed at the previous FOMC, the Federal Reserve meeting, before they come out with the decision and before they do the press conference. It's a little bit of like Wall Street Insider, a little bit of a nerdy type of thing, but it will be impactful to the spread over on Polymarket to whether or not they cut in January. I'm seeing some awesome engagement here in the chat. Yori12 jumping in saying good morning. Sushi Garden said, morning, Mr. Shrum. Morning, morning, good sir. I love to see it. Hope you all are having a good day. Hope you all are seeing this news and it's putting a smile on your face, but you're remembering that prices can absolutely go lower. Folks, I'm bracing for a $74,000 Bitcoin. I don't know if we'll get down that low, but the talented analysts in the Tim Warren trading group, where you can get access to trading alerts, you can get access to live trading sessions where you can ask questions to really, really talented and experienced traders. The traders and analysts in this group, which many of you are watching and listening to me right now, right, we're predicting that there's actually going to be more downside for Bitcoin before we go higher. And don't get it twisted. I'm not bearish on Bitcoin. I don't think it's going to 30. I don't think it's going to 0. I really like Bitcoin, and I have continued to buy more and more of it and some of its friends in the crypto world as we have come to the downside from October 10th. But I don't think that today is going to be the day that folks are rewarded for buying, right? And now, if this is just your regular DCA schedule, then have at it, right? DCAing is different from trying to time the markets, the tops and the bottoms. But I'm here to tell you, I'm bracing for a 74K Bitcoin. It's not something that it's going to be bringing me pleasure to see. A lot of folks might be feeling pleasure in that moment as they are short Bitcoin. I know that a lot of traders in our VIP chat actually are shorting, and they've been making a lot of money since October 10th and the downside that we've seen since then. But I am not someone who's going to be feeling a lot of pleasure. I'm going to be looking at my portfolio and seeing number go down. However, I know that time in the market beats timing the market. My thesis on crypto hasn't changed. I think it's going to be extremely bullish when the liquidity cycle comes back in. The liquidity cycle that has been running parallel to the 4-year Bitcoin mining cycle has been delayed this time around, right? And so I'm aware of that. I listen to very experienced analysts who've put in 30 years or more time on Wall Street and trading risk assets, and they are still convinced that it was actually the liquidity cycle, right? It was the decisions that are made by the Federal Reserve. That's the liquidity cycle, and that is what has actually been steering prices for small cap stocks, mid cap stocks, as well as what we would classify crypto as kind of in that Russell 2000 small cap stock category. It's liquidity. It's not the Bitcoin mining cycle. I think the Bitcoin mining cycle has played a role, and it absolutely has been predictable and has mattered. But I think, especially as we move into the future, that 4-year cycle is in the rearview mirror, and the liquidity cycle takes back control completely over what crypto prices do going forward. All right. Big news for Chainlink. I love to see that they are continuing to take the lead. Solana has been getting the limelight in my mind. They've been getting a ton of positive, real hard-hitting headlines that have been coming in on that side. But it was nice to see Chainlink have a little bit of a spotlight and take a bit of the spotlight today. So without further ado, I think I'll leave it there. There's a couple of folks here kind of cheering on that Chainlink headline. Man of Steel said Euroclear will be sued in court by Russia if the EU strong arms Euroclear. Okay, so that's a whole separate topic. Dan C said, I'll wait and buy more, lower my averages. That is the correct takeaway, in my opinion, of what we're seeing from the markets today. You don't have to trade every day. You don't have to trade every candle. But time in the market beats timing the market if you have a strong understanding and strong conviction of what it is you're invested in and the macro forces that truly dictate the price of what you're invested in. And I'm here to tell you, while there's more pain for those who've been investing in crypto in 2024, 2025, while prices have been elevated by different forces, I do believe that the price movement to the downside is temporary. It is a temporary check on the overall bullishness, the higher prices since 2023, and that correction will find a bottom and we will push higher. Maybe it's 74 for Bitcoin, maybe it's 80,000 for Bitcoin. Perhaps the spread on Polymarket dictates that we will see a 25 basis point cut in January. And the analysts that are doing the charting say, hey, actually, it looks like this liquidity cycle force that is going to come in January is actually strong enough to keep Bitcoin from coming down to 80 and 74. But let me make it clear, they haven't said that yet. I'm still thinking that we have lower to go for Bitcoin. I'm bracing for that. I'm not anticipating feeling great about that number going lower, right? But I am trying to keep maybe a little bit of dry powder on the sidelines, not buying today, so that I can buy at lower prices in the future. All right. Thank you for sticking with me. I've been Taylor here for the Crypto Morning Report. You can find me here weekdays, 10 a.m. New York time, Eastern Standard Time. That Bank of Japan story is going to be pretty dominant tomorrow, and I'm going to be talking about it no matter what happens, rain or shine. We will see what the Bank of Japan does. I think that there's almost very, very little chance, less than 1% chance that they end up pausing rates instead of hiking rates, but we shall see. We shall see. All right. Thank you all for watching. And if you are interested in trading crypto, you are in the right place. Check out the links down below for the Tim Warren trading community where you can come in and learn to trade. And then you can trade with a community of very experienced and very profitable traders. And this is where you can learn, and this is where you can thrive. We also have amazing exchange partners in 2Bit. 2Bit is a crypto exchange where you can really get quite a bit of upside in a type of way that you can't get on other exchanges. Very low fees on 2Bit. You can find the link down in the link tree to 2Bit exchange. All right. You guys have a great rest of your day. I'll catch you here, same time tomorrow. Adios.